Good evening. Um, Today, the Hooves were at headquarters on the Kensington track. We'll get to that meeting in a minute. Now, on Wednesday, the 20th of November, we raced at Canterbury Park, and it didn't play parkish. It didn't. The fence. There was nothing wrong with the fence. There wasn't a leader to win at Canterbury on Wednesday. The track was given out heavy. The rail was 8 metres out and was upgraded to slow. There was I wonder whether it had anything to do with it. I don't think so. A good little solid south-easterly breeze blowing. So when the leaders turned for home, they ran into the breeze. As I say, I don't think it affected, but no leaders interestingly won. But race 3 there, well, the runner that led Saritsa, number 6, it was a $16 chance, opened 13 to 2, a $7.50 chance, got out to $16, would have been a huge result for the captains. It led the runner that finished up winning the race, Meteorus. It sat directly behind it on the fence, got around its heels, middle split after turning for home, and took the entire straight to wear it down to beat it by 0.1 of a length. The favourite in that race, Supreme Joy, was trapped 3 wide all the way, finished up running 4th. It was a 5 to 4 on chance. So, interestingly, no leaders won, but there were other runners that came off the fence and won. Second winner sat outside the lead. It was on the fence at one stage, Panometer, who was a big plonk. And talk about plonks at Canterbury on Wednesday. The first race there was an absolute fortune won. The captains were King Hit in the first race, the old right cross followed by the left hook, and down I went anyway. It was $4.40 bet, $4.20 on the flux screen. Artistic Lass we're talking about, ridden by Serge Lindsay, 3 kilos off, and he had 51, 8 kilos under the limit, and it started about a $2.90 chance. So it was more or less 7 to 2 to 15 to 8, and it won as the betting suggested. It won by 6 odd lengths, 6 1/4 lengths. It sat back in last position. He didn't lead, Serge Lindsay. He led on one today, went 100 mile an hour, but he didn't lead. He settled down in last position. He just eased off their heels, going out the back straight, and rounded them up, and the race was over on the turn. But as I say, there were no leaders won that on Wednesday at Canterbury, which was a little bit interesting. But so it wasn't diabolically fenced. We went to Hawkesbury on Friday. Well, of course, the filthy TAB, they do the programming, don't they? They wouldn't care what they don't know the situation. Wagga was on Thursday. 4 people at Wagga. The Sydney punters, at least Friday following up Randwick today. Hawkesbury should have been on Thursday and Wagga on Friday, of course. Now, at Hawkesbury, the rain was off. The track there was a slow 7 to start with. The rail was in the normal position. It was upgraded to a slow 6, but then showers off and on all day. And after the 6th race, the heavens opened up, and we had torrential rain there for a good half hour. They were trying to put the races back, did their best to try and run the last 2 races, but there was a bit of surface water down the back straight, and I think it was in the back straight, and the meeting was that the last 2 races were abandoned. And interestingly, well, yes, there were leaders. The track played fairly fair at Hawkesbury. Of course, we had the best caller, Mitch Manus. He's a great caller. He saves all of the video watchers plenty of time because he gets the right horses in exactly the right place. He's very precise in what he says. And the meeting, it was, well, there was no one there. It was a ghost town and there wasn't anything that really stood out in winning. There are plenty of well-backed runners won, and as I say, you could lead and win, and also come from behind around them. The track played fair. Now we got to the Kensington track today at Randwick, and even everybody was raving about, excuse me, how this track is now, the Kensington track. Of course, they caught plenty of rain during yesterday and during the week, and the track was only given out as a dead 5 this morning, upgraded to a dead 4, and the Stripes said after race 5, oh, the track's a good 3 now, and it played, I suppose, very fair, although similar to Canterbury, no leaders won today at Randwick. There were runners by the same token that got dream runs along the rails inside leaders and won, but no leaders won. The first race, there was light rain before the first race. It might have been very light during the first race, but then it stopped, the sun came out, and after the rain went, a gradual nor'easter picked up, and it was a little bit towards, say, races 6 and 7, especially race 6. There was a good little, not enough to knock leaders down by any means, but it was across the track and from the northeast, and when the leaders were coming down the side, of course, they were running into that little breeze. Don't think it had much of an effect, but interestingly, no leaders won. Now, in this first race, dead set the robots today, we gave it to them. There was 1 or 2 races that had positive figures, but most races, very, very poor value for the captains on the course. Captains on the course are finding it hard to find punters, of course. There's filthy TAB. All they have to do with these fixed odds is put fixed odds up a little bit better than what the actual tote price is showing. Of course, the steam tubbers they have betting with them, they tumble into them all the time, thinking they're getting a better deal, but they've always got plenty of percentage on their board, and it's affecting the bookmakers' hold, the captains' hold on the course every single day. It is the cancer of racing. In this first race, we captains gave, on the screen, they said 99.5. There were 4 to 5 less in the marketplace, about 95%. And the winner, well, there's one straight away that I can see. It said the best luck was $3.20 about this winner, Octan, but there was $3.50 given on the fence and in the outside ring, and plenty of $3.40. So we've got a couple of percent there straight away, and a little bit in a few of the others. It led on the fence. Fence hold had me at hello. It led on the fence with the runner on its outside, and 3 wide outside the lead was the winner, travelling very sweetly. Peter Snowden had 2 runners in the race, it and the winner, and also Step Hansen, and it ran 3rd. But the winner, even though it was out wide, it was only a 1,000-metre race, straight run down the side, come to the bend, it travelled sweetly up the rise, and got enough break to hold off the Snip Spur number 7 to beat it by 3/4 of a length, and it was 2.3 lengths away to the 3rd horse. The winner was a fairly good run. In this race, The best back runner by far was the runner who was the only runner who had a start before, and that was the top weight here, Mavericks, trained by Timmy Martin, ridden by Nash. It had the inside alley, slightly missed the kick, but Nash got into a lovely position right up behind the leader on the fence. It more or less, it had every possible chance, and after opening up $5, it got out to $5.50, but they'd kill you for the $4, the 3 to 1 towards the finish, and it started around about it started the $3.80 second pick. We put the winner up, the 6 to 4 favourite, 6 to 4 the field, we said, and it got out to, as I say, as much as 5 to 2. At one stage after the 5 to 2 was bet, you couldn't get $2.90. It was $2.80. Look, it might have even touched $2.70. But $2.80 we'll say, but then it got back out to $3.20, but back into $3 starting at that price, and it was not a bad win. Race 2, on the screen it said only 100.1 in the marketplace, about 4 less in the marketplace. These were the flux. Flying Sebring was 20 out to 21 out to 26. Amavotio was 2 to 1, $3 out to $4, back into $3.20. Oxford Poet was 10 out to 13. The winner, Sinjoran, it went from $5.50 out to $8, back into $6. Or you might have even been able, yes, it was around about a $6.50 chance when they jumped. Made to Order, the favourite, it was a bit hard to lay, $2.70 given, $2.25 out to $2.70, back into $2.60, and Love Takes Over, you wouldn't see it, but $13 and $12 given about it. It started, it was into $7 at one stage, no better, but got back out to about $8.50 towards the end of betting. And it sat in 4th position, Sinjoran, from barrier 1. It never went around a horse. It led on the fence, Oxford Poet. On its outside was Love Takes Over. The Flying Sebring looking at the pair, and right behind the Flying Sebring on the fence was the winner. And as I say, never went around a horse. Got inside the leaders up the straight. The favourite in this race, Made to Order. Nash aboard. T. Clark aboard. And it sat back in, it was on the outside of Sinjoran. When they turned for home, he pulled out. It more or less was just ambling up the rise. It looked as if it was going to put a sprint in, come quickly, but it only put in a couple of strides, making ground, and then all of a sudden it was starting to flounder a bit, and it finished up running 5th in the race, beaten 1.9 lengths, having every possible chance. The winner got a great run and only won by 0.2 of a length, beating the stablemate of the favourite, Amavotio, who settled down in last position, got in between runners, got inside the favourite after they topped the rise. Looked like it was going to win, but the winner got a very good run along the fence, as I say. Race 3, again, losing figures. The robots, they'd be howling, wouldn't they? 97.7 on the screen. In the marketplace, try 92.5. These were the flux. Angola, $6 to $6.50. I might have even been $7 when they jumped. Presido, $9 out to 13, back into 12. Instrumentalist, you wouldn't see it, or it might have been, I'm not too sure, but $5.50 given on the fence. $4.60 out to $5.50, back into $4.40. Windbender, Mr. Waller had 4 runners in this race. Did he get the trifecta? No, he didn't. Number 1 ran 3rd. Number 4, Windbender, very hard to lay, didn't have a price. So there's 11% out the window straight away. It was $5.50 out to $9. The next one was Scratch Perplexity. It was $4.60 out to $4.80, back into start $3.30 or 20 even. So it was 15 to 4 to 9 to 4, starting favourite. Nash aboard. He set a nice solid pace up in front. The next runner, Jara Lee, hard to lay, $7 out to $11, back into 10. Celtic, Soul was 30 out to 40. 20, you wouldn't see it. I think the best luck was $15, major. Blind Man could have got $17. $21 given, and started 15. and the bottom one was 60 out to 100 Malone. And as I say, Nash went straight to the lead going out of the straight the first time on Perplexity, setting a nice even pace, rolling along, coming down the side of the 800 metre mark. Is a good 3 length clear. Horseman Bowman on the winner, Instrumentalist. He was in 4th position all the way. He got into about 3rd hole turning for home, and after Nash had got clear topping the rise, he wore the leader down to beat him by, and favourite Perplexity to beat him by 1.3 lengths. And Angola, who was on the back, was in 5th position on the fence, easing off heels. It found the line well, only beaten 1.5 lengths. I suppose, well, he did go fairly fast, Nash, but I suppose that was the way the way that horse rolling along like that was most probably suited it. So I think it was given every chance. Race 4 on the screen, only a skinny 100.3, about 3% less in the marketplace. And in this race, these were the flux. Very hard to lay this favourite, Calming Influence, ridden by Serge Lisney. As I'm saying, cracking jokes, he will come back as a greyhound. Gee whiz, he did run along in this race on Calming Influence. He jumped from a wideish alley, and he went straight to the lead and ran along with the very well backed second favourite, although I got out towards the finish, Miniature. The flux were $1.70 out to starting $2.05. $2.05, isn't it a joke? $2.05 Calming Influence. Very, very hard to lay. I got very little section out of it. Miniature, $3.80, the 11 to 4 second pick we put it up, got out to $4.60, came into about $3.70 at one stage, or even 60, but got out to start $4 second pick. The winner, Flight Academy, it went from $7 out to $10, might have even been $11, back into about $9.50. Mademoiselle, stablemate to the Avery, Calming Influence, it was well backed, $7.50 out to $8.50, into $7.50 taken at one stage, but back out to about $7.50. The next runner was 40 out to 50, All That I Am. Then we went all the way down to Girls Got Rhythm, was 50 out to 80. The next runner, Fast Pantheress, 20 out to 41. And the bottom one, Fast Grass, or number 12, it was 40 out to 101, back into 71. And as I say, the pace was on all the way. Nash tailed the favourite. I think he was fairly confident all the way. Nash was most probably saying to himself that I think you're going a little bit fast up front here, young lad. And when they topped the rise, Nash got past the favourite fairly easily at the 200 metre mark. If you were on the second horse, Miniature, it did look as if even the judge, he went for number 3. He was ready to slide it in. But then coming down the outside after sitting in about 6th position to the turn and getting to the middle of the track, enjoying the fast pace, was Flight Academy, ridden by Killer Kath O'Hara down the outside. And once it got to Miniature after the 100 metre mark, it finished up getting well past it when the line was reached by 2 lengths. And the third horse and favourite, the leader, Calming Influence, was 4.5 lengths away back in third posse. The others, it was then 6.5 lengths back to the fourth horse. So first, second and third had a lap on the others. Race 5 on the screen for the robots, 107 in the marketplace, about 3 less, about 104. And this race was won by the Avery Terra Vista. There were 10 runners in this race. It drew barrier 10, and that is what won this the race. I finished up. I had a bad result on it. I lost on this race. We put it up the 2-to-1 on favourite, $1.50. We'll have your 2-for-1. We got it out to $1.70, which was the fluck, and they laid that on, and it was $1.60, starting to get a little bit hard to get at the finish. It was perfectly ridden by Horseman Bowman. It went straight to the front. I Own the Lead. King Cobia, ridden by D. Thornton. Got ability, this rider. And Terra Vista was velodromed by Horseman Bowman, eventually just sliding across and getting into that lovely position, second. Looking at the leader, behind the leader on the fence, a couple of lengths away, was the horse that finished up running third, getting a charmer, and that was Babel. It was well back from 21 into 17, or even 16 at one stage, back out to 17. And on its outside was the 100-to-1 chance Parlour Sport in the 1-1 position. When they topped the rise, it was still leading King Cobia. The favourite on it just looming up. There was enough room for Babel to get inside the leader. It got off the fence a bit, the leader, and Babel was getting up on the fence, and the favourite, Bowman, hadn't gone for this favourite until after they topped the rise, and of course even Mark Sheen said, well, he hasn't gone for it yet, and when he did go for it, I had my suspicions about it. There wasn't as much as everybody thought. He had up his sleeve the way he was sitting, and it was full bore in this race to win by 0.8 of a length, and beaten 1 length. Running third was Babel. They got away a bit away from the other runners. It ran fourth, the Queensland horse, Longshoreman, and the favourite, if it, I think, would have drawn an inside alley and maybe had to kick through and lead, and was something made it go a little bit, run along in front, I think it would could have possibly would have been possibly could have easily been beaten. That's what I'm trying to say. It only had to make, it got the perfect run to win. That's what I'm trying to say. Got the perfect run to win. And if you ran the race again, I'm sure anybody who laid the $1.70 on would most certainly not be laying it on again. We got to race 6, and on the screen, another skinny 101.5 to make you laugh, and about 1.5 less in the marketplace for the captains. We played Swy with the Grumble and Grunters, less the Toyota Lexus, and they're only about, well, 1.5%. So we bet losing figures. Now in this race, again, showing that there was nothing wrong with the fence, but no leaders got home. This winner, Solomon, it got a charm run from barrier 1. It went straight to the lead as expected, Capital Commander, and it ran along with the greyhound boy on top, Serge Lisney. It ran along. It looked at it all the way, Letchworth, who was always going to be up near the lead. On Letchworth's back was Home on a Wing, who ran a good race, finished up running third for a $30 bet chance, starting $26. Only got beat 1 length. The winner, Solomon, had barrier 1, and it was inside and back a little bit from Home on a Wing, on the fence, sliding up when they got to the turn. The favourite in this race, who finished up running 4th, Index Linked, it came out not missing the kick. It hasn't, when the gates open, it just hasn't got any natural speed, and it rolls along, but it settled down in last position. Nash got it to settle down on third last on the fence, looking at the winner all the way, but it had every chance. The winner, $6 bet about Solomon. As I say, never went around a runner. The leader, Capital Commander, got well off the fence. Plenty of room for Solomon to go through, and it finished up winning by 0.8 of a length, and it was 1 length to Home on a Wing running third. Favourite ran fourth, beaten 1.8. Now, what was I going to say in this race? Well, look, that was about it. They more or less raced in pairs, and the winner got the Charmer to win. Capital Commander ran a very honest race as the third horse, and run this race again, and not get the same run the winner, or have to get inside the leader. It mightn't have won. Race 7, very skinny here again. The figures disgraceful. 97.5 in the marketplace, about 3 less, about 94.5. These were the flucked. $8 out to, you wouldn't see it, $10 given number 1, back into about a $7 chance, Barramilla. They took my $7.50 at one stage, but I was $8 when they jumped. Just a Girl was $5.50 out to $6.50, back into $5.50, but out to $8 at the end of betting. Medusa's Miss, $6 out to $7.50 into $5.50. I was 6 again when they jumped. How do you say the next one? A beautiful. It was the runner from New Zealand was $26 out to $51. Quick's the Word, $12 out to $18. Dark Brown Sugar, 18 into it was 17 out to 19, taken at one stage, but starting $19. Mysobeel, $18 out to $26. Then we had the winner, Mysobeel. We put it up the clear-cut favourite. We put it up 11 to 4 the field. It got out to plenty of $5.50. It flucked $5.50, came into $4.80, if not $4.60, but got out to start again $5, a bit hard to get. The next runner, Panko, 26 out to 41 at the finish, and the runner that started favourite was Dream Empress. I couldn't understand why it started so short. Every steam tug's got to be right every now and again. It was 7 to 2 out to, was $4.60 out to $5, into $4.60, back out to $5, but then at the death it was into $3.50 or even $40, starting clear favourite. It set outside the leader, Just a Girl. It had every possible chance. Who won this race? It was won by, as I say, Christy Lee. It finished up beating its stablemate, Barramilla, who came from third last, who ran down the outside. And coming, the runner that was inside it, Dark Brown Sugar, it finished up running third, nudging Dream Empress, who sat outside the leader for third position. The winner, look, it has won by 1.3 lengths. You run this race again. It did slot into a beautiful spot, Christy Lee, from barrier 7 in a field of 10, ridden by Horseman Bowman. Even though it's won by 1.3 lengths, everything fell into place for it. By the same token, I suppose if you ran the race again, it would be the favourite, but you could easily get a different result in that race. And then we got to the last race, and on the screen, they said there was, now I didn't, it was 104.2 on the screen. Now, straight away, I can see where there is 4 difference, so that brings it down to 100, and that difference is with For a Rainy Day. Now, the best luck about For a Rainy Day was $5, a 4 to 1 chance. Well, the blind man could have got $5.50, and it was $6 on my board when they jumped. So there's 4% straight away, and there'd be a few other percents here and there. So we would have given under the 100 in the last, without a doubt. I would say around about for sure, because number 1, well, these were the flux. So you can, the number one Test of Rhythm was 20 out to 41. A Gister, who would have been a huge result for the captains, 20 out to 31. The next runner, Live and Let Die, never had a prize, 26 out to 81. 50 out to 61, New Day Rising. The favourite, Field Marshal, sensationally back. I had to wind $2.60 off after $3.80 was bet, so it was 11 to 4 to 6 to 4, $3.80 into $2.50. Tahitian Black, $10 into $9, back out to $10. The winner, Territory, $8 out to $12, back into about $10 or $9.50. For Rainy Day, $4.60 to $6. The next runner, War Charm, you wouldn't see it, $31, 26 out to 31, into 18, but I was 21 again when they jumped. And the bottom one, Monoballistic, Monoballastic, whatever it's called, at $9 out to $11, back into about, it was $10 again when they jumped. And so there was a lot less than 104.2, about 97 or even less. This race was won by Territory. It settled down in third last position, ridden by neat Nathan Berry. And, you know, we all have heard the accolades that have been presented to Nathan's brother just recently when he went over to Singapore last week and he rode the Singapore Cup winner. Plus he's in the limelight a lot more than his brother. But their one another says, no, there's not a split inch between the two of them. She said, you can't separate the pair, not only in looks, but in also their riding ability. She won't hear of it. And this winner, Territory, was ridden by Nathan. He settled down in third last position on the fence. He was in that position turning for home. He eased off the runner's heels, was looking for a way to get to the outside. There was no way for him to get a split to come that way. There were plenty of gaps appearing. He switched a bit back to the inside and went inside plenty of runners, and he finished up catching the runner who I said would have been a huge result for the captains, Agista, who had sat outside the leader, Green Beret, who gave in fairly easily, but it was only beaten by the same token 1.8 lengths. Agista got past Green Beret and looked all over a winner with Monoballistic, the bottom one, who was sitting in the 1-1 position, fighting it out for second position with Agista, but getting up inside those two runners, as I say, finishing by far the best was the winner, Territory, and it finished up winning by 0.4 of a length. It was possibly the best run in the race. The favourite, Field Marshal, he drew a wide alley. I think he would have been in. He was in about at least two from the outside. There were how many scratchings in this race? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 12 runners or 11 runners, and he drew barrier 10, and he was sort of half carding midfield. Father Schofield was ridden by the pumper last start when it was wide all the way. Father Schofield aboard, sat midfield. He tried to get a position early. He was going to be trapped 3 wide on a limb, so he eased back, and he was, even though he was wide, he was half carding. It moved up wideish when they topped the rise, but it was never ever really going to win. It never got beat far, but whether that first run took plenty out of it or not, we don't know. But the winner was possibly the best run in the race coming from well back. That was about the meeting. If you were wire netting today on the Who's, not only at headquarters, anywhere in Australia, I hope you won. Good evening.